beautiful people. Today we're going to be talking about how rap is the new rock. And you might be wondering, how can you say rap is the new rock? Rap and rock are not the same thing. Well, I'm going to be telling you what I mean, because I'm not talking about this on a surface level. I'm talking about this on a spiritual level, because historically, rock and roll music, back from when it was, a lot of people enjoyed it. It was actually the precursor to a lot of the music we have today, including pop, R&B, etc, etc, and it was the same in other cultures. I actually talked about this in my series where I was doing K-pop versus J-pop, and I did a mini series, just 3 videos going into the history of those musics. And one thing that I learned from that, and also from my other research, is that rock was really how a lot of music today started. But here's the thing. As far back even as the 1970s, rock music was being used on purpose for demonic activity. And yes, we're going straight into that. If you feel skeptical, just run with me. Just hear what I gotta say. And if you still disagree, that's fine. You can let me know in the comments. I'd love to know why, genuinely. But as far back as the 1970s, rock music was actually being used for demonic purposes, you know, in order to kind of combat the reason why. Because think about it like this, guys. The way I look at things is like the kingdom of darkness always likes to mimic. It likes to mimic. Satan, just a copycat. He's a big copycat. So anything that God does and God does for himself, Satan wants to do, and Satan wants to do the same for himself. That's why even Satan has his own disciples. In fact, it was one of his ex-disciples that I was researching, who spoke up about a lot of this stuff, because he was very high level involved in all of this stuff. And he explained that they were doing this stuff on purpose. He explained even that they went as far at the time to start making Christian rap music as a trap to Christian people, because Christian people were against rock, saying that, you know, it was evil and demonic or whatever. In those days, obviously not everybody, but some. And I just want to throw it out there that, like, I've always been a fan of all genres of music, rock being included. So I'm right there with you in terms of like this not being like the greatest news of all time, but I'm being honest. I got to be honest with myself, and I got to be honest with y'all. And so, and it was then, you know, where I talked about, I've referenced a couple of times how they were purposefully like taking the executive, what are they called? The executives, label executives. He was saying that label executives, is which he was part of it himself, in the United States of America, in California, taking, you know, all these records, these masters, and doing demonic rituals with them in order to send demons along with the CDs and the music, etc, etc. Right? So then they had to branch out, and that's kind of just expanded now across the board into different areas of music. And if you think that it's crazy, think about some of the lyrics, because the devil always hides in plain sight. Like, think about that song Highway to Hell. I've heard that. I'm on the highway to hell. Like, if you have ever thought about what hell actually sounds like, why would you even want to joke about that? And that's kind of where I want to go in terms of why I believe rap is now the new rock. Because a lot of rappers today, they kind of joke about this type of thing. They kind of joke about the fact that, you know, like, they're demon possessed, or they joke about, yeah, I sold my soul to the devil, this, that, and the other, yeah, this, that, and they talk about it like it's all fun and games. Hell is a real place, and it's a place you do not want to go to. Because all hell is, and I've explained this before, but I'll explain it now, it's like just total separation from God. Because everything good, the Bible says every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord. Everything that is good, everything that is true, everything that is light, everything that is perfect, everything that is lovely comes from God, right? And a lot of us, and because he loves us, that's why even if you don't believe in him, you still get to enjoy it anyway, because he's like, I love you. You enjoy the good things anyway, right? But and so when you get to heaven is just the fullness of that. There is no mixing of anything, because by there, it's all perfect, it's all good, it's all light, it's all true, it's all everything, right? So all hell is the exact opposite of that. The exact opposite of that. In heaven you have order, in hell you have disorder. In heaven you have light, in hell you have darkness, right? That's how it works. So when these people are like joking about going to hell and all this stuff, it's not a joke. It's not a joke, and it's not funny. And I've been seeing, like, you know, other people have been speaking up more about this stuff as well, you know, like where these rappers and stuff will joke to their audience, like, oh, you guys, you know, we're all going to hell, you know, we're going to hell together, da 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 da, this is what we're gonna do, da 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 da. And like, fans are like going along with it. And I think it's because we live in a society today where we're very ignorant to spiritual things, which, you know, I've been there. we're very ignorant to spiritual things, so we hear this stuff and we think it's all fun and games. And like, even when I hear people make the joke, they're like, oh, haha, you're going to hell for that one. I'm like, oh, I can't joke about that. I'm not going to hell for nothing. I received Jesus. I ain't going to hell. And I don't want to go to hell, and I don't want anybody to, not even my worst enemy. Honestly, I really don't. I don't find that place to be a joke. And I feel like a lot of this stuff, and I've said this before and I'll say it now, it won't be funny if you have to learn that it's real at the other end. So let's take it seriously now when we have the opportunity to make a difference. That's how I look at it. When you die, I could not say this stuff, which might be uncomfortable for some people. I could not say this stuff, and everybody could love my videos more and want to share them and think that it was lovely, right? Or I could say this, it could be uncomfortable, but you could think about it now and you can deal with it now, and you can at least not have to have the shock of dealing with it on the other side, you know. And this is why I kind of liked that Netflix series, you know, The Good Place, although it kind of went a bit weird in the last season, if you ask me. But you know, because it highlighted the fact that this is like how you live your life, and what you think could be completely wrong on the other side, you know. But I also like how it highlighted that it's not as simple as just who's a good person, who's a bad person, because it's not that simple. That's why I don't believe in good people. The only good person was Jesus. But why I'm saying all of this is that, like, I'm very concerned because rap culture is becoming such a center of society, and I'm going to talk more about this even in another video maybe, because so many people today, like, if you think about it, right, rap is like at the center of so many of the issues that we have in society today. If you think about when it comes to relationships and this whole gold digger thing, why can they even be gold diggers? Because there were men who had a lot of money. What do you associate with men with a lot of money and stuff? You have the men who wear chains, who have nice cars, who can afford to buy this, who can afford to take you here, there, and the other, right? And that promotes something in women. But it's also in those same rap videos where women are being, you know, seen in a certain light as video vixens, just twerking and just doing whatever. Like, to me, I find it boring now. I'm like, listen, guys, are we really still just having a woman there just shaking her bum? Like, is it really that deep? Like, really? Are we really still there, you know? When you think about rap and everything, a lot of these rappers come from, you know, the backgrounds they come from, and they're killing each other, and it's all leading to destruction. And this is my point, it's all leading to destruction. It's kind of like the rock and roll thing. It's kind of like, if you wanted to create the perfect environment in order for demonic possession, these are the types of things you would use. Like, so even the rap music that's out there now, like, don't get me wrong, guys, I'm a big fan of rap. Like, I'm a big fan of rap in the sense of, like, rap in and of itself. The rap culture that we live in today, and a lot of the rappers today, how they're all killing each other, how they're making songs about killing each other, all of this is destruction, this is disorder, and it's not funny. I don't find it funny when I hear of another young black man who died, who was shot, and then his cousin was shot, and then his brother was shot, and then his friend was shot, and then all the other people came in to go against that because they felt like this. And I'm like, seriously, guys, are we really doing this still? Like, are we really just out here killing our own people, like, and saying that it's for whatever? Those things are demonic. But what feeds into them? The culture. Because now in culture we promote that, we love that. I mean, we support those types of things. We listen to that kind of music. People are showing up. People who don't even understand the lyrics, don't even understand that lifestyle, don't even know how serious that stuff is, are showing up to these types of concerts, are buying these kinds of records, which is reinforcing this kind of behavior. And guess what it's leading to? Kill, steal, and destroy. Like the Bible says, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. People are dying. Like, it's shocking how used to death we've become. I remember when, like, somebody being killed in the hood was like a bigger deal back in the days. Like, and it was always a big deal, but it was always happening a lot. But before, it was like a bigger deal. Now it's just like, oh yeah, and so and so and so and so was shot yesterday and died, and they've died or whatever. Oh, so and so and so and so. Or like when TK47 is now doing like 47 years in, what is he doing? 57? 55. I think it's 55 years he's doing in prison at like 19 years old. Like, this stuff isn't funny. This is literally what the enemy wants, and this is what he wants. And guess what? Why is it the new rock? Because we're feeding into all of this stuff. We're feeding into it. We're supporting rappers. We want to be the ones with the chains. We want to be the girls in the videos. If you're a woman, if you're a guy, you want to be the one who can have as many women as you can have. We want to be using all this language, having, you know, being violent and all of this. Why do all these things, so many of these things, lead to violence as well and crazy behavior? You know, to me, I just feel like we've got to the point where rap is the new rock, and I really strongly believe that so many of these rap artists are just like what this guy described as what the rock artists were like, how they are basically being used by the kingdom of darkness to spread demonic activity in the world, into the listeners. And guess what? I'll tell you how you can really tell when Satan is involved, is because usually the people who are doing the delivery, usually his servants, they also are collateral as well. They get caught up in the destruction. They end up getting destroyed. They end up dead. They end up shot. They end up in prison for a long time. They end up, you know, on drugs. Think about that as well. How much of this rap music talks about drugs and everything. Even Future, you know that song Percocet, Molly Percocet. Turns out Future was like, oh, he doesn't even take Percocet like that. So you're seeing that and when you hear those types of things, it's putting in your head like, oh, for me, I didn't even know what a freaking Percocet was, okay, before that. But that was because obviously having been in the UK. But Percocet, Molly. So now people are like, what's Molly? Now people want to know what Molly is. You're hearing these songs in the club, like this is the music that you're hearing in the club. It's getting these things into people's heads. People talking about drinking, talking about this and that. It's all encouraging. Do you see how I mean? It's all encouraging. Even the rock and roll lifestyle, that was very connected with drugs and alcohol. Why do you think drugs and alcoholism is so prevalent in society today? And then guess what? Now the government's saying as well that they want to be having centers where we have clean needles if you want to be taking drugs. And I'll tell you this again, I said it in another video, but I'll say it now. And guess who's supplying fentanyl? Yeah, you know that big drug in the US? Guess who's supplying it to the US? China. And this is what I'm trying to say. Like, these things, it's like rock and roll kind of went out, okay? Not everybody messes with that aesthetic. Not everybody messes with that music. Culture's changed, right? Because a lot of cultures don't necessarily rock with that. Rap, however, is having a different change, a different effect for a lot of reasons, and the same things we're seeing again, promoting the same types of lifestyles, the same types of behaviors, right? Even amongst the black community, you have all these talk about the type of men, the type of women that black guys go with, and the black guys do this and that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, using N-words and things. And I'm just speaking about this from the black perspective, but it's not just the black perspective. And if you're from another place in the world, I would love to hear your perspective on just the rap culture. Let me know in the comment section from where you're from. I'm just speaking about, you know, the areas I feel I can speak about, because I'm a part of I'm a member of those, you know, groups or whatever. So this is where we're at in society today. This is where we're at, and now these things are just being pushed more and more and more and more. The lyrics of the music is becoming more and more demonic. They're saying exactly what they're doing, talking about, I'm dancing with the devil, I'm getting into bed with Satan, I sold my soul to the devil. They're saying, and I'm going to talk about selling your soul to the devil in another video. I did one video about it, but I feel like I need to readdress it. All these things are being spoken about so casually, and all this stuff so casually, as if it's not serious, as if it's not real, right? As if it's not affecting people, as if hell is not a real place, but it is. And I'll tell you guys something, and I'll finish this here. I promise you this. Satan does not, I don't care what Satanism thinks, whatever. Satan does not love you. Satan hates us as humans, because God made us in his image and he chose us. Satan hates us, and Satan made a mistake. He made one mistake and he was out, right? And God said, guess what? I'm going to give my children unlimited opportunities, unlimited forgiveness through my son Jesus. And so he hates us, which is why he wants us to go to hell with him, because in hell, guess what? The demons get to torment us even worse than they can on earth. That's what they get to do. And they're looking forward to it, because we're all going to be being tormented, but they get to torment us as well. Even more. Like, God is in fact restraining the kingdom of darkness even still in this world today. But of course he has to allow free will. If we want to sell our soul to the devil, then what? Do you want to be a robot, or do you want to have your free will? Especially in a society today where all we do is fight for, we want the right to this, the right to that. Well, God's giving you the right to make a decision. So make the decision to recognize that hell is a real place you don't want to mess with. Satan is not on your side. It is absolutely not a joke. Rap is becoming very problematic, and I feel it's very central to a lot of the issues we have in society today. But I'm going to leave that there. Jesus is the answer. God bless you all. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to let me know, don't forget to subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button. Other than that, God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.